You have everything you thought you wanted, so why does it feel like nothing at all? If you've ever lain awake at night wondering why there's this hollow feeling in your chest, even though your life looks perfect on paper, this video might change everything for you. Let's be honest, you're doing okay. Maybe even better than okay. You've got a job, perhaps a relationship, friends who care about you, and a roof over your head. You're not in crisis. There's no disaster happening. And yet, there's this emptiness, this void that you can't quite explain to anyone, because how do you tell someone you feel empty when you have no real reason to feel that way? How do you explain that you're going through the motions of life, but feeling completely disconnected from all of it? Here's the thing that nobody tells you. This feeling is way more common than you think. We live in a world where we're constantly told that happiness comes from achieving things, from getting the right job, finding the right partner, buying the right house, and hitting the right milestones. And when we finally get those things and still feel empty, we think something must be wrong with us. We think we're broken, ungrateful, maybe even selfish for not being satisfied. But what if I told you that this emptiness isn't a bug? It's actually revealing something crucial about how you've been living your life. What if this feeling is actually trying to tell you something important? Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. You might feel empty because you've been living someone else's version of a good life. Think about it. How many of your goals are actually yours? How many of them did you choose because society told you they mattered, because your parents expected them? After all, Instagram made them look appealing because everyone around you was chasing the same things. You went to college because that's what you're supposed to do. You got a stable job because that's what responsible adults do. You're in a relationship because being alone past a certain age feels like failure. You bought things because owning them is supposed to make you feel successful. But here's the brutal reality. Achieving goals that aren't truly yours will never fill you up. It's like trying to satisfy your hunger by watching someone else eat. When you spend years pursuing a life that looks good from the outside but doesn't resonate with who you actually are on the inside, emptiness is the natural result. You're not depressed, you're not broken, you're just living a life that doesn't fit you. And your soul knows it, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. But there's another layer to this. You might feel empty because you've become addicted to distraction. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat with yourself in complete silence? No phone, no TV, no music, no podcast, no scrolling, just you and your thoughts. Can you even remember? Most of us can't, because we've trained ourselves to run from that silence. We wake up and immediately reach for our phones. We work with multiple tabs open, music playing in the background. We eat while watching something, we exercise with earbuds in. We fall asleep to Netflix. Every single moment is filled with input, with noise, with distraction. And we do this because silence is terrifying, because when everything stops, we have to face ourselves, and what we find there often feels like nothing at all. But here's what's actually happening. That emptiness you feel when you stop distracting yourself, that's not the problem, that's the symptom. You're not empty because you stopped scrolling. You're scrolling because you've been avoiding the emptiness. And the more you avoid it, the bigger it grows. Distraction doesn't fill the void. It just helps you pretend it's not there. And eventually, the void gets so big that no amount of distraction can cover it anymore. Now let's talk about something that might hit even harder. You feel empty because you've stopped growing. Think back to a time when you felt truly alive, truly engaged with life. I'm willing to bet it was a time when you were learning something new, challenging yourself, pushing beyond your comfort zone, and becoming someone you hadn't been before. Maybe it was when you first started a new job, or learned a new skill, or traveled somewhere unfamiliar, or fell in love, or started a creative project. Growth creates meaning. Challenge creates engagement. When you're stretching yourself, when you're evolving, when you're becoming, life feels full, because you're actively participating in your own transformation. But what happens when you stop growing? What happens when your life becomes routine, predictable, safe? You might be comfortable, but comfort without growth eventually turns into stagnation, and stagnation feels a whole lot like emptiness. You wake up, you do the same things, you see the same people, you have the same conversations, You think the same thoughts. You feel the same feelings, day after day, week after week, year after year. There's no newness, no discovery, no expansion. You're not dying, but you're not really living either. You're just existing, and existence without growth is a special kind of hell that we call emptiness. And here's what makes it worse. Our culture has sold us this idea that the goal of life is to reach a point where everything is figured out, where you're settled, where you've arrived. Get the career, find the partner, buy the house, and then what? Then you're done. Then you can just coast. But humans aren't designed to coast. We're designed to evolve, to explore, to create, to overcome. When we stop doing that, when we think we've arrived and there's nowhere left to go, we don't feel satisfied. We feel dead inside. Let me throw another possibility at you. You feel empty because your relationships are shallow. Look, I know you have people in your life. You have friends, maybe a partner, family members, and coworkers. You're not isolated. But quantity isn't quality. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone because most of our interactions have become superficial. We talk about the weather, about work, about shows we're watching, about surface-level drama, about other people's lives. But when was the last time you had a conversation that touched your soul? When was the last time you talked about what you're actually afraid of, what you're struggling with, what you dream about, what keeps you up at night, what makes you feel alive? When was the last time someone really saw you, not the version of you that you perform for the world, but the real you, the messy you, the uncertain you, the searching you? Most of us have lost the ability to be vulnerable, to be real, to let people in past the carefully constructed walls we've built. We've replaced genuine connection with curated versions of ourselves, with small talk, with likes and comments that mean nothing. And then we wonder why we feel so empty, so unseen, so unknown. You can't feel full when nobody knows who you really are, including yourself. This ties into something even deeper. You feel empty because you've lost touch with your own inner world. You're so focused on external things, on what's happening around you, on what other people think, on what you should do next, on problems that need solving, on tasks that need completing, that you've completely abandoned the relationship with yourself. You don't know what you actually feel anymore because you're too busy managing what everyone else feels. You don't know what you want because you're too busy doing what you should want. You don't know who you are because you're too busy being who everyone needs you to be. And when you lose touch with your inner world, when you abandon yourself, emptiness is what rushes in to fill that space. Think of it this way. You have this entire universe inside you. Thoughts, feelings, dreams, fears, desires, questions, a whole rich inner landscape, and you've turned your back on it. You've treated your inner world like it doesn't matter, like it's not worth exploring, like it's something to ignore or suppress or medicate away. And then you're shocked when you feel empty? You've literally emptied yourself by refusing to pay attention to what's happening inside you. Here's another brutal truth. You feel empty because you're not creating anything. You consume all day long. You consume content, consume food, consume entertainment, consume other people's ideas, art, and stories. You scroll, you watch, you listen, you read, you take in, take in, take in. But when do you give out? When do you make something? When do you contribute? When do you create? Humans need to create. It's in our nature. It doesn't matter if it's art or music or writing or building or cooking or problem solving or helping others. We need to take what's inside us and bring it into the world in some form. Creation is how we make meaning. It's how we process our experience. It's how we connect with something larger than ourselves. But we've become a culture of pure consumption, and consumption without creation leaves you feeling hollow because you're only taking in, never giving out. You're only receiving, never contributing. And that imbalance creates emptiness. Let's go deeper. You feel empty because you have no sense of purpose. And I don't mean some grand cosmic purpose. I mean you don't know what matters to you. You don't know what you stand for. You don't know what you'd be willing to sacrifice for. You don't know what drives you beyond just getting through the day. You're drifting. You're responding to whatever comes at you, reacting to circumstances, following the path of least resistance, doing what's expected, going through the motions. But there's no fire inside you, no mission, no calling, nothing that makes you feel like you absolutely must do this thing, must become this person, must contribute in this way. And without that sense of direction, without something pulling you forward, life feels meaningless, and meaninglessness feels like emptiness. Now I want to talk about something that might be uncomfortable. You feel empty because you're avoiding your pain. We all have it. Unprocessed grief, old wounds, childhood trauma, losses we never fully mourned, disappointments we never fully faced, parts of ourselves we've rejected and pushed down into the dark. And all of that unprocessed pain doesn't just disappear. It takes up space inside you. It creates numbness. It creates disconnection. It creates emptiness. You can't selectively numb your feelings. When you shut down pain, you shut down joy too. When you avoid sadness, you limit your capacity for happiness. When you refuse to feel grief, you can't fully feel love either. Emptiness is often what happens when you've been running from your difficult emotions for so long that you've numbed yourself to all emotions. You did not want to feel bad, and in the process, you stopped feeling much of anything at all. The emptiness is actually all that pain you won't let yourself feel. It's there, waiting, taking up space, creating this void inside you. And the only way through it is to actually feel it, to face it, to process it, to let it move through you instead of staying stuck inside you. But that's terrifying. So instead, we just live with the emptiness and wonder why nothing makes us feel alive anymore. Here's something else to consider. You feel empty because you're living too much in your head and not enough in your body. When was the last time you actually felt your body? Not just used it as a vehicle to carry your brain around, but actually felt it, inhabited it, paid attention to it? Most of us are completely disconnected from our bodies. We live entirely in our thoughts, in our worries, in our plans, in our stories about ourselves, and we've completely lost touch with the physical experience of being alive. Your body holds wisdom. It holds emotion. It holds aliveness. But when you're only in your head, constantly thinking, analyzing, worrying, planning, you miss all of that. You become this floating consciousness with no anchor, no ground, no sense of being here now. And that disconnection from your body, from the physical sensation of existence, creates a feeling of unreality, of being not quite here, which feels a lot like emptiness. Let me ask you something else. Do you even know what you enjoy anymore? What actually pleases you? Not what you think should please you, not what used to please you, not what pleases other people, but what genuinely lights you up right now. Most people can't answer this question. They've been running on autopilot for so long, doing what they think they're supposed to do, that they've completely lost touch with what actually makes them feel good. Pleasure is not frivolous. Joy is not optional. Delight is not a luxury. These things are essential nutrients for your soul. And when you're not getting them, when your life is all duty and responsibility and should with no actual enjoyment, no play, no fun, no lightness, emptiness is inevitable. You can't live a full life when you've eliminated everything that makes you feel full. Here's a hard question. Are you living, or are you just not dying? Because there's a difference. Surviving is not the same as thriving. Getting through the day is not the same as actually experiencing the day. Existing is not the same as living. And if you're honest with yourself, you might realize that you've been in survival mode for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to actually be alive, to feel things deeply, to care about things passionately, to engage with life fully instead of just enduring it. Emptiness often comes from living a life that's too small for your spirit. You're capable of so much more feeling, more growth, more connection, more creation, more aliveness. But you've made your life smaller and smaller, safer and safer, more controlled, more predictable, less risky, less vulnerable, less intense. And your soul is suffocating in that small, safe space. The emptiness is your soul screaming that it needs more room to breathe. Let's talk about social media for a second, because I think it plays a huge role in this epidemic of emptiness. We spend hours every day watching curated highlights of other people's lives, and it creates this weird effect where we're constantly stimulated but never satisfied. We're taking in all this information about what everyone else is doing, feeling, thinking, and achieving, and meanwhile, we're not actually doing anything ourselves. We're just watching, and it trains us to be spectators of life instead of participants. It trains us to perform instead of to feel. It trains us to compare instead of to connect. It trains us to consume instead of to create. And all of that leaves us feeling hollow, because we're spending our lives watching other people live instead of actually living ourselves. The emptiness is the gap between the life you're observing and the life you're actually experiencing. Now, what do you do about all this? How do you fill the emptiness? First, you have to stop trying to fill it. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but stay with me. The emptiness isn't the problem, it's the messenger. It's telling you that something in your life needs to change. It's telling you that you're living out of alignment with yourself. It's telling you that you're avoiding something, suppressing something, neglecting something. And if you just try to fill it with more of the same stuff that created it in the first place, more distraction, more achievement, more consumption, you're just going to make it worse. You need to sit with the emptiness. You need to stop running from it and actually feel it, explore it, listen to what it's trying to tell you. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What am I not allowing myself to feel? What am I not allowing myself to want? What am I not allowing myself to be? The emptiness will tell you if you're brave enough to listen. You need to question everything about your life. Every goal, every relationship, every habit, every belief. Ask yourself, is this actually mine, or did I inherit it? Is this actually serving me, or am I just used to it? Is this actually what I want, or is it just what I thought I was supposed to want? You might discover that huge parts of your life aren't actually yours, and that's why they don't fill you up. You need to reconnect with your inner world. Start paying attention to what you feel, not just what you think. Start noticing what your body is telling you. Start exploring what you actually want, not what you should want. Start having an actual relationship with yourself, one where you listen, where you're curious, where you're kind, where you actually give a damn about your own experience. You need to create space for growth. Take on something that scares you. Learn something new. Go somewhere unfamiliar. Challenge yourself. Push past your comfort zone. Become someone you haven't been yet. Growth is the antidote to stagnation, and stagnation is one of the primary sources of emptiness. You need deeper connections. Stop having shallow conversations and start being real with people. Be vulnerable. Share what you're actually going through. Ask people real questions and actually listen to their answers. Let people see you, the real you, not the curated version. Connection happens in vulnerability, and without real connection, you will always feel empty. You need to create something. Anything. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be seen by anyone else. Just take what's inside you and bring it into the world in some form. Write, draw, build, cook, help someone, solve a problem, make something. Creation is how you participate in life instead of just observing it. You need to process your pain. Stop running from your difficult emotions. Stop numbing them. Stop distracting yourself from them. Feel them. Let them move through you. Cry if you need to cry. Rage if you need to rage. Grieve what needs to be grieved. The only way out is through, and the emptiness will remain as long as you keep avoiding what you need to feel. You need to get back in your body. Move. Dance. Exercise. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the sensation of being alive in a physical form. Your body is not just a vehicle for your brain. It's the instrument through which you experience life. Reconnect with it. You need to rediscover what actually brings you joy. Not what used to, not what you think should, but what actually does right now. And then you need to prioritize that. Make time for pleasure, for play, for things that light you up. This is not frivolous. This is essential. You need to find something that matters to you. Something worth doing. Something worth becoming. Something that gives your life direction and meaning. It doesn't have to be world-changing. It just has to matter to you. Purpose is personal, And you won't feel full until you have some sense of why you're here and what you're moving toward. And maybe most importantly, you need to stop living the life you think you should live and start living the life that's actually yours. This might mean disappointing people. It might mean changing course. It might mean admitting you got it wrong. It might mean giving up things you worked hard for. It might mean starting over. It might mean choosing the harder path. But the alternative is living with this emptiness forever. And I promise you, that's worse. The emptiness is not your enemy. It's your wake-up call. It's your soul telling you that you're meant for more than this, that you're capable of more aliveness, more feeling, more connection, more meaning, more you. It's uncomfortable because it's trying to push you toward growth, toward change, toward a life that actually fits who you are. So what's one thing you've been avoiding that you know you need to face? What's one area of your life where you've been pretending instead of being real? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it, because I guarantee you're not alone in this. Here's what I want you to remember. Feeling empty doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're ready for something real. It means you're done settling. It means you're ready to stop performing life and start actually living it. The emptiness is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the space that needs to be there before you can fill your life with things that actually matter, with genuine connection, with real purpose, with authentic self-expression, with true aliveness. Your life is not supposed to feel like this. You're not supposed to go through the motions, wondering why nothing feels like enough. You're supposed to feel things deeply, to connect genuinely, to grow continuously, to create freely, to live fully. And the first step toward that life is admitting that the one you're living right now isn't working. The emptiness is proof of that, and it's also the invitation to change it. If this resonated with you, do me a favor and hit that like button so more people can find this video, because I guarantee someone you know is feeling exactly this way and needs to hear this. And subscribe to the channel because we're going to keep having these real conversations about the stuff nobody else wants to talk about. Your life can be more than this, and it starts with being honest about where you are right now. See you in the next one.